What happens when 7 major nations suddenly decide they don't want Filipino workers anymore? It's already happening, and the numbers are staggering. Over 300,000 Filipinos are being forced to leave their jobs and return home in 2025. These aren't voluntary departures. They're forced exits from places where Filipinos have contributed for generations. The #1 country will leave you speechless. 7. Taiwan. Taiwan's manufacturing and industrial sectors have long been a major source of employment for Filipino workers. In 2025, significant changes to labor policies have created turmoil for thousands of OFWs. The government has reduced factory worker quotas by a staggering 60%, leaving many without job security or the ability to renew contracts. On top of that, a stricter skills verification system has been implemented, significantly increasing costs for workers. Many Filipinos who previously met the criteria are now unable to qualify, forcing them to return home under substantial financial stress. Adding to their challenges, Taiwan has introduced a mandatory return policy after contract completion. Previously, workers could renew their contracts seamlessly or transition to new employers. Now, limited opportunities mean that many workers have no choice but to pack their bags and leave. These abrupt changes have left Filipino workers scrambling to make arrangements and return to the Philippines. The impact on Filipino communities in Taiwan is profound, with estimates suggesting tens of thousands of workers affected. Taiwan's reliance on Filipino labor has been undeniable, but these new policies have disrupted livelihoods and shattered long-term plans for OFWs. The ripple effects of this decision are being felt throughout Filipino families and communities. 6. Kuwait has taken an aggressive stance on migrant workers in 2025, and Filipinos are among the hardest hit. The government's mass deportation of domestic workers has left thousands of OFWs scrambling to adapt to an uncertain future. Many workers have been forced to leave abruptly, with little time to plan their next steps. Strict new age restrictions for employment disqualify Filipinos over the age of 45, regardless of their years of dedicated service. Kuwait's zero-tolerance policy for overstays has made an already difficult situation worse. Penalties for overstaying visas are severe, pushing many Filipinos to leave the country in fear of fines or detention. Long-term OFWs, some with decades of experience, are finding themselves suddenly jobless and unable to remain in Kuwait. The sudden enforcement of these policies has torn families apart, with some breadwinners forced to return home while leaving dependents behind. Filipinos have contributed significantly to Kuwait's economy, particularly in domestic work and skilled labor. Despite this, the recent policies reflect an increasingly hardline approach to migrant workers. For many OFWs, this marks the end of their journey in Kuwait, as they return home with uncertainty about what lies ahead. 5. Japan's caregiving trainee program, a lifeline for thousands of Filipinos, has been terminated in 2025, cutting off a vital source of employment. The program provided stable jobs and helped support Japan's aging population. Its closure has left countless Filipino caregivers without work and has ended opportunities for aspiring workers to enter Japan's labor market. Adding to the burden, Japan has introduced a foreign worker tax that significantly increases the financial strain on OFWs. For many, the high cost of living in Japan, combined with this new tax, has made it nearly impossible to save money or send remittances back home. Stricter visa renewal policies have also compounded the problem. With reduced quotas and higher qualification standards, fewer Filipinos are able to extend their stay. Filipinos in Japan have played a crucial role in sectors such as caregiving, nursing, and manufacturing. Despite their contributions, these recent changes have forced many to return to the Philippines. For those affected, the journey home is filled with uncertainty as they face reintegration challenges and a lack of comparable job opportunities. The abrupt end of these programs has disrupted lives and long-term plans, leaving many Filipinos to wonder what the future holds. 4. United Arab Emirates, UAE. The UAE's Emiratization policy in 2025 has dramatically reshaped its labor market, displacing over 85,000 Filipino workers. The policy prioritizes Emirati nationals for key positions in sectors such as banking, retail, and government roles. As a result, Filipinos who have worked in these industries for years are finding their opportunities dwindling rapidly. Family visa restrictions have further complicated matters, making it difficult for OFWs to maintain their households in the UAE. Many families have been forced to separate, with breadwinners returning to the Philippines while their dependents stay behind. Rising living costs and stricter housing regulations have added to the pressures, pushing many Filipinos to leave the country altogether. Filipinos have long been a vital part of the UAE's workforce, contributing to its economic growth and development. However, the localization of industries has drastically reduced opportunities for foreign professionals. The situation has left many OFWs feeling uncertain and unappreciated after years of dedicated service. The UAE's policies have disrupted the aspirations of thousands of Filipinos who once dreamed of building stable lives in the country. For many, the sudden shift in policies has been a stark reminder of the challenges migrant workers face in prioritizing local over foreign labor. 3. Saudi Arabia's Saudization initiative in 2025 has had a profound impact on Filipino workers. This policy, aimed at prioritizing Saudi nationals in 12 key sectors, has displaced thousands of OFWs. Filipinos who previously held stable jobs in retail, hospitality, and construction now find themselves excluded as roles are reserved exclusively for locals. Adding to the challenge, Saudi Arabia has tightened restrictions on domestic worker roles, making it harder for Filipinos to renew their contracts. These changes have forced many to return home, ending careers that were essential to supporting their families. The abruptness of these shifts has left workers with little time to prepare financially or emotionally for their departure. Cultural and social challenges compound the situation. Limitations on religious practices and community events have further isolated Filipinos, making it harder for them to maintain their support networks. Despite their significant contributions to Saudi Arabia's economy over the years, these new policies have created an environment that feels increasingly unwelcoming. For many OFWs, leaving Saudi Arabia marks the end of an era. The sudden shift in policies has not only disrupted their lives but also left them grappling with uncertainty about what lies ahead in the Philippines. 2. Bahrain. Bahrain's labor policies in 2025 have effectively phased out Filipino workers, marking a dramatic shift that has left many OFWs without options. The inability to renew contracts has forced thousands of Filipinos to return home, disrupting livelihoods and families. The introduction of property ownership restrictions has made it nearly impossible for Filipinos to establish long-term roots in Bahrain. Many workers who had planned to stay in the country are now left scrambling to make arrangements for their return. Compounding the issue, family visa cancellations have separated loved ones, with breadwinners being forced to leave while dependents face an uncertain future. Filipinos have long been integral to Bahrain's workforce, contributing to its economic growth in industries such as construction, domestic work, and healthcare. Despite this, the government's recent policies prioritize local employment over foreign labor, leaving thousands of OFWs excluded from the workforce. For many Filipinos, the sudden enforcement of these policies has marked the end of their dreams in Bahrain. The challenges of reintegration into the Philippines, coupled with financial instability, have left OFWs and their families facing an uphill battle as they adjust to life back home. 1. Qatar's post-World Cup labor policies in 2025 have caused significant disruption for Filipino workers. The country's focus on reducing its foreign workforce has hit OFWs in construction and hospitality particularly hard. Many of these jobs, once abundant, are no longer needed, leaving thousands of Filipinos jobless. The introduction of Qatar-only policies has reserved key industries for Qatari nationals, effectively closing the door for migrant workers. These policies have made it nearly impossible for Filipinos to find new employment, leaving them with no choice but to return home. Additionally, Qatar has imposed a complete hiring ban on new Filipino workers, solidifying its stance against expanding foreign labor in the country. For many OFWs, this marks a heartbreaking end to their careers in Qatar. The abrupt nature of these policies has left families in disarray, with breadwinners forced to return to the Philippines under significant financial strain. Despite their immense contributions to Qatar's development, Filipino workers now face an uncertain future as they reintegrate into their home country. Qatar's policy changes highlight the vulnerability of migrant workers in a rapidly shifting global economy. As the leading nation forcing Filipinos to return home in 2025, its actions have sent ripples of uncertainty throughout Filipino communities worldwide. What do you think is the biggest challenge for Filipino workers returning home? Let us know in the comments below. Is it the lack of local job opportunities or the challenges of reintegration into Filipino society? If you want to understand how the world views Filipinos differently, check out our previous video, 15 countries trying to be like Filipinos but failed miserably, and see the surprising ways Filipinos continue to inspire others. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on stories that matter to the OFW community.